And welcome to Modern Day Debate Discord for another big time debate before us. And we are going with Shellshock, who is taking the affirmative on pro life, and BigSlump, who is coming from the pro choice position. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And let's get ready to debate. First off, Shellshock, you're the veteran coming back for yet another round. Do you have anything to tell people about your channel, what you do, why you're here?
I recently crossed 100 subscribers, so that's pretty nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Thank you. I reached out to Ryan, the moderator, the current moderator, I guess, of Modern Day Debates. He says that he'd be willing to put me on next week
Oh,
on the
beautiful.
weekend for another
Congratulations.
debate.
Yeah, fantastic.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, there's
Don't
some...
really know who my debate is,
yeah.
my opponent is, but
Does it really matter? And BigSlump, do you have anything to share about yourself just quickly before we get started?
I'm just normal 20 something year old trying to make a living out here. I hope to have a great debate. Shellshock, congratulations on all your accomplishments. Can't wait to see you on next week. And thank you, Mark, for moderating for us.
Oh, my pleasure, and thank you for your time as well, both of our interlocutors here. So it's time to debate. Usually the affirmative doves go first. If you have any questions, do lock them into and at the Modern Day Debate. What is it? I do have to figure this out. Our stage bot that is there. I might just give it a test. And to show you what to do. MDD stage questions, and I'll put question 1. So if you send it to that, then we can get a list of the questions afterwards. Affirmative usually does go first, so that probably is BigSlump on the abortion topic. Is that okay with both of you?
Yeah, it's fine by me.
Okay, well, we usually have about up to 12 minutes introduction, usually around 10, 12 minutes. If you do want to cut it off, that's fine. We'll just go to the next person. Usually it's about 30 minutes to 40 minutes discussion, even longer if you do want, and then we'll do questions and answers. Is that okay with both of you?
Sounds great.
All right, fantastic.
that's fine.
BigSlump, the floor is all yours. Take it away.
Yes. Thank you. Really, my position is not going to take too long to break down. I'm just of the mindset that when it comes to abortion, whether it's legal, illegal, it's going to happen regardless. So I'd rather people be safer about it, be smarter about it. And I think the best way to do that is with government assistance, such as Planned Parenthood. Without things like that, women are at a loss to access to a ton of healthcare, not just abortions. And there's so many reasons people have abortions that I don't think it's fair to say it's all illegal. You know what I'm saying? Or it should all be illegal. That's pretty much my position.
Okay, short and sweet for the introduction. Is there anything more you've got to add, or is that it, BigSlump?
That's it. I think.
Okay.
I like I said, I didn't need a ton of time to tell my position. I think it's a pretty succinct one.
Sure, no problem at all. Shellshock, the floor is all yours. Take it away.
I always keep my opening short. I much rather get into the open debate. My argument is that abortion unjustifiably kills a human being, hence abortion is wrong.
And that's your introduction. Do you have anything more to add, or should we just want to go into the open discussion now?
I'd rather go into the open discussion.
Okay, no problem at all. BigSlump, go for it. Yep, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're okay. I think the biggest problem with debates on abortion is that it really depends on when you see life as beginning. Some people believe life starts at conception. I'm not one of those people. I do believe life starts at birth, or at least sometime around then. When I think about if it's unjustly murdering somebody, I see it as murder, or even a person.
So you think that human life starts at birth,
Yes.
not personhood, human life.
Human life. Personhood. Wait, can you just? What do you mean when you say personhood? So I can get what your definition of it is.
Personhood usually refers to a concept that a human being needs to gain to get human rights.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I know what you're talking about. Things like excuse
Some
me.
people say conscious or sentient, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe there's definitely personhood. When you think about it, if something isn't sentient, can't remember what's going on, doesn't even have visuals truly of what they're doing, doesn't know what they're doing, can you really say they're alive?
Yes.
Well, I personally disagree. I just think life is such a hard thing to define. Um, because no one's going to agree on when it does begin.
By
So
just to
when I think of life, I mean, I think you have to be in this material world without, you know, you surviving. I guess I don't really quite know what you mean. Well, like, because I it just comes to a fundamental disagreement there that you believe it's a life and I do not.
okay, so if it was a life, you would then be against abortion.
Um, I don't even think I would say that because I know I said I wasn't going to bring bodily autonomy into it, but it is an
You
important.
want
This is the part of this that is going to include bodily autonomy. Is that I just do believe that women have the choice to their body, and if that means they want to kill something that is living off of their body, I think they should have the choice to do so.
Okay, so I do want to make it clear. So even if we assume that human life starts at conception, you would still support a woman's right to kill another human being
Yes,
if it's
yes, I would.
sorry? Yes,
Um,
you would. That's
I,
the body autonomy argument.
and the thing is, like, I don't believe it's killing though. Like, I'll take your hypothetical and let's say yes, they kill another human life. Life starts at conception. It's a life that isn't surviving on its own that has to be connected to the mother or else it will die. And I think at that point it does go on the woman's choice.
Okay, so and so until the baby is born, the baby itself has no choice, correct?
Yes, yes.
So you
And
would support a woman's right.
of course
Sorry?
there's different circumstances to everything. We could talk about ectopic pregnancies. We could talk about, situations where the life of both the fetus and the mother is, in danger. And at those points, kill it. Kill it.
Yeah, I'm not denying there. But but when we talk about abortion, we're typically talking about outside of medical necessity for the mother.
Um, yeah, even in those cases, I still think it should come down to their choice. I personally don't believe that it's truly a life, and I think if you're in a parasitic relationship with something, I think you should have the ability to take that parasite away from yourself.
Uh, you can mention the fact that it's not alive, but from our discussion, it doesn't seem that that's relevant. You already agreed that a woman can still kill her baby, even if it was a human life, right?
Yes, I do agree with that, but again, that's the hypothetical. The reality is, I don't believe it's a human life.
That's fine. I want to disprove the fact that women can kill their own children that are human lives, even if they're growing inside of them first, and then I can prove to you human life starts at conception.
Well,
There's no
I don't see
there's
how you
no point
prove
assuming there's no point in trying to convince you human life starts at conception because then you'll just make the argument, well, it doesn't matter because women can choose to get an abortion anyway. That's
yeah.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I understand you. I do just want to ask a question though. You said
Sure.
you're here to prove that women don't have abort. Is that what you said? Or can you just repeat that statement for me one more time?
I said prove human life starts at conception.
I know before that you said something. I just can't quite remember what it was.
I can't remember what specific thing you're asking. I don't know.
Okay,
Mark, do you
we
know what
can
I
move
said?
on. I can't quite remember. We can just move on from that.
Okay,
but
so
go ahead. What do you have to say? Like what are you arguing right now? Like you know.
you said that you support abortion
Yes.
even if human life started at conception, right? So we
Yes.
can put that aside. Let's say human life starts at conception because
Okay.
it's not going to change your mind, right?
Yeah.
That whether or not abortion is allowed or not allowed, correct?
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. So do you support abortion all the way up until 9 months?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's how I feel about this, right? We don't know what medical things a woman is going through. And I know you want to say most abortions don't happen, at that term, or most women aren't getting abortions for medical reasons. If you're getting an abortion at 9 months, that means there is definitely a medical reason, and because no women are actually doing that.
I don't disagree, but this mentality of no woman actually doing that so we can make it legal is kind of ridiculous. We would never say to for example, BigSlump, has a
Okay.
mother ever killed her born baby?
Of course.
Yet
When I say
somehow
it's
this
never happened, I'm
mentality
clearly
that
in
women
hyperbole.
won't kill her 9 month child is seems impossible to pro-choicers.
Excuse me, when I say it never happens, that's speaking in hyperbole. Of course, some women are going to do that. Of course, it's going to happen, but I think it's at such a minuscule percentage that it really shouldn't be looked at as hard as you are. It's such a small percentage of women that are doing that at the end of the day, the data is very in favor of allowing abortion for any reason.
Okay, so even though innocent children are being killed, you still think that it should still be legal because
I don't.
overall majority of women uh, don't majority of women do it for a justifiable reason.
See, I don't like the word, the framing you're using. Again, I know we're going off the argument that it's at conception. The framing, they're not killing kids. Let's be real. They're fetuses. I mean, just to be a baby, the definition is you have to be born. So automatically, they're not children. They're fetuses. And if somebody wants to terminate a pregnancy, no matter the reason, no matter the time, it should be okay. And really,
Okay.
we shouldn't know about it in general. HIPAA, we should know why a woman is going through that.
Okay. First, I was using children as a more of a colloquial term, right? We
No,
technically a newborn baby isn't a child either. It's a newborn baby, but we still call it a child. Secondly, the definition of a fetus is an unborn baby.
Come again? I'm sorry.
The definition of a fetus is an unborn baby.
Okay.
So just making the claim that it's not a baby till it's born doesn't make any sense.
Give me one moment.
Okay, just while we have this lull,
Part of the
Sorry.
definition of baby is sorry, excuse me. Part of the definition of baby is recently born. It's in the definition of baby. But this is semantics. We don't have to argue these points. They are semantics at the end of the day. I'd really rather just get into the hard facts.
Okay, so we've established a couple things. We've established that human life isn't actually relevant when we talk about the debate of abortion. You're making the claim that women will get abortions anyway. Uh, the third thing is, so now I need to prove to you that women can't get abortions, especially if it's a human life. Correct?
Well,
Would you?
try to prove that, but women are getting abortions, so I don't see how you say they can't.
No, I mean like women shouldn't. Like it should be
Okay.
illegal to kill your child.
Okay.
That kill
Sure,
your fetus.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, so a 21-week-old baby that's prematurely born has human rights, but a 9-month-old fetus doesn't, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
If you're
Okay, so my
off the body of someone else, I don't think you have a right to be mad if that person decides. And you really, it's not even a right to be mad. It's, you don't even know what's happening. You won't know what's going on. Like, we're not saving children by stopping abortions because there's nothing that needs to be saved. Like, let me ask you something, Shellshock. If there were, this is a trolley problem, okay? Let's say there's one living child on a train track, and on the other track, there is 500 fertilized embryo that can be brought to life, right? Are you going
okay.
and let's say the train is heading straight for the child, but you could make the decision to kill the embryos, the fertilized embryos that have a chance for life. Would you take that chance? I mean, there's more of them. If you believe it's a life, you should save
I'd
the
look
500
the baby
people, right?
I'd look the baby right in the eye and tell it that I'm the one driving the train, and then run it over, and then turn back and run over the embryos too.
Okay, funny. It's a serious
Okay,
question. It's a serious question, though.
I'll pull the lever and run over the embryos.
Why, though? Why would you do that? If life
Because
starts conception and human life, as you believe, is sacred and needs to be taken, needs to live, you're, in your opinion, you're killing 500 people over one person.
correct.
Why? Is it because you don't place that value of life on fertilized embryos as much as you do as
I don't
living
place
person?
that high. I don't place that high of a value of life on embryos as much as I do babies. To turn
Okay.
around the question, would I pick 500 adults or one baby? I would still pick the baby,
Okay, that's not the question, though.
right? No, but I'm explaining to you how pointless this question is. You're somehow making the claim that the choice that you don't pick somehow is not worthy of human rights.
No, because what you're saying, if you say life starts at conception, if you believe that, and you believe human life should be carried to term no matter the circumstances, those are your words. These are 500 embryos that can be
Those are not
taken
my
to birth
words.
to live. Those are your words. That's exactly what you said.
Not even close.
Okay, then frame it for me again.
You don't have to carry the baby to term at any means necessary. If it's an ectopic pregnancy, if the mother's life is at risk, if the fetal abnormality is increased to a degree that the
Okay,
fetus is going
fair
to
enough.
die.
I was still under the assumption that we were arguing that most women didn't get medical abortions like that. My
Most
fault.
women don't get medical abortions like that, though.
It depends on when the abortion takes place. Anything after
Yeah,
6 months, it's most likely because of dangerous conditions. And really, my main point about all of this is that whether you believe abortion should be illegal,
mhm.
but it's been, studies have shown that the legality of abortion doesn't really change the amount of abortions that take place. It just changes the amount of safe abortions that take place.
BigSlump, if we didn't make murder illegal, right?
Okay.
If we made murder illegal, right? And you told me, well, it doesn't really matter. People are going to kill people anyway. It only stops safe murders. Do you think that's
That
a reasonable answer?
that's an entirely different question, though. Murder is illegal, right? But that's different than if abortion was illegal. Of course, murder being illegal is going to stop some people. Murderers are still going to murder. That is what happens. The only thing making it illegal does is that if we catch those murderers, they get thrown in prison for the rest of their life. Abortion's not like that. It's a very false equivalent. It's a false equivalency. if
Okay,
we,
why is it a false equivalence?
well, oh, excuse me, give me one moment. God damn it. Sorry about that. It's just the false equivalency is, again, murderers are going to murder, whether regardless of the legality of it, right? Well, I think we can both agree on that. The only thing murder does, or the only thing making murder illegal does, is send murderers who get caught to prison. With abortion, sorry, I lost my train of thought. With abortion, abortions are still going to happen. You're not saving anybody like you claim to be. Lives aren't getting saved, because I actually have a study I can send in chat to prove this. Abortion rates stay the same regardless of the legality of abortion. And I
Big
can
slump.
link this. I can link this study in the open debate state chat
It's
if you'd like
not.
to read it.
No. I don't even disbelieve you, right? I believe,
Okay.
but it's not relevant. The point of the question is not it's not me saying that it's going to remain the same. We would never legalize murder, even if the amount of murderers remains the same. We would never
Okay.
legalize
Okay.
crime.
Then what is the point of making abortion illegal? What is the point?
You can't kill human beings.
But as I've just stated, the abortion rate stays the same. So the same amount of
Oh,
human beings are dying.
big slump. Big slump.
Actually, in the study I have, it shows that countries that have anti-abortion laws actually show increased rates of abortion as opposed to countries without them, about 5% more.
Okay, big slump. Let me make this clear. Okay, if there are 1,000 murders happening in a country,
Okay.
right? Nobody would say, "Hey, the 1,000 murders are happening because murders are illegal. If we make it legal, then it'll be safe for murderers, but there'll only be like 700 of them."
There's no such thing as a safe murder, Shellshock. That's the false equivalency. You can have a safe abortion. That is a real thing. When women are denied access to abortion, excuse me, I'm talking. When women are denied access to abortion, that means they're getting it done in back alleys, in terrible places where they will get injured, where they have a higher chance of injury. Murder is going to injure no matter what.
Okay. Abortion always kills another human being. It injures and
I
kills
don't
the
believe.
unborn
Okay,
child.
Big Slump. Let Shellshock sort of
Yeah,
say what he
sorry.
needs to say. That's okay. That's all right. No problem. Let's go, Shellshock.
We should. Yeah, okay, hang on. Let's move on from this. It doesn't seem like we'll be getting anywhere with this. To kind of get back to the point on abortion, but you do believe in body autonomy. You do believe that you support abortion all the way up until 9 months.
Of course, yes. Because I believe there's circumstances that are involved.
Wait, no, not certain circumstances. You would support a woman's right to an abortion even outside of those circumstances.
Yes, because of those circumstances, I support abortion up to 9 for everybody. No, understand me. Let me explain. If we deny access to abortions, that means it's going to be harder for women who have those medical issues to receive abortions. That's just the nature of it. That's the nature of denying abortions. So that's why. So for those women, since they exist, that's why I believe every woman should have the choice up to 9 months.
Okay. There was a woman in UK that got an abortion at 32 to 34 weeks. Okay. The reason she got the abortion was because she was cheating on her husband and she didn't want to get caught. Is this a valid reason to get an abortion?
You know what? It's not my. I can't say whether it's valid or not. I shouldn't know this information based on just HIPAA. In my opinion, no, it's not entirely valid, but it's not my choice. I can choose to believe that abortion is wrong and that it's bad, but I also think that women should have that choice to make that decision if they need to, if they want to, really. And
So
it's a terrible story. It's a horrible story, and I feel for that unborn fetus. I feel for it, and it could have had a life, but it didn't, and that's the reality of things.
okay. So even in this singular event, you would not this anecdotal event, this singular case, you would not punish this woman. You would not want the law to punish this woman.
No, I wouldn't, because
Okay.
that opens the door for much worse cases.
Okay.
You know, my sister-in-law, she has had 4 ectopic pregnancies in the past 10 years, and it's terrible. It's terrible. But in a lot of these Republican states and in a lot of these places that are anti-abortion, women like that will go to prison.
No, they won't. But
Yes, a few countries, or excuse me, a few states in America specifically, if I remember correctly, Texas and Mississippi. I believe Mississippi and Arkansas and Texas are all ectopic pregnancies that's still an abortion.
every single law that has a ban on abortion has an exception for the mother's life, and some countries, I think Texas specifically, has an exception for ectopic pregnancies. So if your abortion,
I might have been wrong about Texas. That's one I wasn't 100% sure of. I'm 98% sure both Mississippi and Arkansas don't have those same restrictions or same protections, I should say.
if an ectopic pregnancy is not treated, the woman will die. So it
Yes.
falls under the mother's life being the exception. So if your doctor is not providing that treatment, he's committing a crime. By law, he's allowed to do it.
Yes, of course. But again, it just depends on where you are. You know, not everywhere is going to have the same laws about abortion. Even
Only,
like
the only states that don't have an exception to the mother's life are states where abortion is already legal.
Come again?
The only states that don't have an exception for the mother's life are the states where abortion is already legal.
Okay. Like I said, I'm pretty sure. I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar on it that a lot of these anti-abortion southern states in America don't have those same protections. But like the last point, I don't feel like we're gonna find agreement on this. Let's move on from this point. I do just want to get further into this.
Okay, I want to finally get around to the body autonomy argument and why it doesn't work, rather than the legality of it.
Okay.
Okay, BigSlump, my argument is that consent to sex is consent to pregnancy. Like when you consent to drinking, you consent to getting drunk. You cannot make the claim that I didn't consent to getting drunk.
Okay. Let me pump a hypothetical out at you.
Okay.
So let's talk about HIV, right?
Okay.
You get it from having sex, right?
Correct.
So are you going to say HIV is you consent to having HIV if you have
It
sex?
would if neither couple was if neither couple had HIV previously and then got HIV during sex, then yes, I would say that you did consent to it. Yes.
I don't think that's how HIV works, but we'll move on from
I'm
that.
aware,
Okay.
I'm just making
Okay.
an example.
Then let me ask you. This is the hypothetical I'm really getting to. If there was 100% cure for HIV, you would probably urge everyone with HIV to take that cure, correct?
If there was 100%,
100% cure for HIV.
okay. Yeah, I would tell everyone to take that cure. Sure.
Okay. There is I won't say 100% because some abortions do end up botched. That's science. But effectively a 99.9% cure for pregnancy, and you don't want people to take that?
No, because your cure for pregnancy ends up killing another human being.
If you believe it, I don't believe it's a human being.
But you said that that's not relevant.
It's not, but I also don't want people to think. I want to frame my argument correctly. Is I don't believe it's human being. I don't think it does matter, but I don't believe it's human being.
Okay, so give me a different argument because that's not valid according to your own arguments.
I don't see how it's not valid. I mean, you're saying because when it comes to
you just said
killing people,
earlier
you're saying it's.
Okay,
Sorry?
And I don't
let's
think
let's sort of just
I don't.
yeah, let's sort of
Sorry.
just let each other talk. At the moment, so what are you saying, Shellshock? That the bodily autonomy argument isn't valid, and BigSlump, is that something that you want to talk about?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
bodily autonomy is the most valid.
My problem was that he gave an answer that he himself doesn't believe in. You said that human life, it being a human life, is completely irrelevant to you. So when I made the claim that abortion kills a human life, which is why I don't agree it as an acceptable cure, you said, "Well, I don't think it's a human life." That's fine. That doesn't that's not an argument though, because you yourself have stated that you don't believe in it.
No, I said I'd still believe regardless of whether life started at birth or conception or not. I didn't say didn't believe in it at all. But okay, I'll concede that to you. I'll say that was a bad argument to give. But when it comes to bodily autonomy, you can say it's a consequence for sex, but what about rape? What about rape? What about
The ar-
incest?
well, incest doesn't really matter, but
It kind
cases
of
of
does.
rape, yeah. Sorry.
Incest kind of matters, but continue. I'm sorry.
Typically, when people say rape and incest, they usually mean due to the fact that rape typically happens from somebody related to the woman, right?
Yes, mostly. But it's
So
still they go
in
hand in hand
itself,
in a lot of cases. That's why I say it matters. But I will agree. We can just talk about the rape at this point.
the argument for rape is a little bit different. Typically, the violinist argument comes into play, which is that you can remain plugged up. For example, you wake up one day plugged up to the violinist, right?
Okay.
And this is from Judith Jarvis Thompson's book, where she says that if you wake up one day with your body being plugged up to another human being, the violinist in this instance, but you
Mhm.
only have to be plugged up for 9 months, you would still have the legal right to unplug. I agree. So in cases of rape, you get to unplug. But from my understanding, no abortion procedure exists that is the equivalent to unplugging. Some will say that it is. That's what the first trimester abortion pill does, in which case I can't argue against. But other pro choicers have said that that's not what the first trimester pill does. So it seems like what the first trimester abortion pill does changes depending on the situation. The reason you
Well,
can't have an abortion, the reason you can't have an abortion is because it directly kills the violinist. Even in Judith Jarvis Thompson's own book, where she makes this analogy, she says, do not confuse your right to an abortion as your right to kill the violinist.
okay. That's fine and all. I do agree. But the thing about making abortion illegal, right, is that in cases of rape, do you know how hard rape is to prove if you don't come forward immediately that you've been raped?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's very hard to prove you don't come forward. And most women don't come forward immediately due to embarrassment, due to, just a whole bunch of
Yes.
reasons. So if rape can't be proved, let's say a woman was raped, and if rape can't be proven in her case because she took too long to get a rape kit, are you saying that she should not be able to get an abortion?
If she can't, no, we would need to prove that we would need to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that she wasn't raped.
And see, I don't agree with that. I think that's fundamentally wrong. Truly, I don't think a woman should have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that she was raped. Because here's my whole
I
thing with
don't
it.
think that's not what I said, BigSlump.
That is exactly what you said.
Okay, I'll restate it for you. We would need to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that she
Yes,
wasn't raped, wasn't,
that
for
she
her to
wasn't
not
raped.
get an abortion.
Do you know how hard it is to prove something in the negative? That's why it's not done. You don't prove negative.
But
You don't something.
listen,
You don't
listen. When
something.
somebody commits a crime, when a person says, when a woman says, "I've been raped," and the
Mhm,
guy is not convicted of a crime, right?
mhm,
Do
mhm.
we arrest the woman because she's a lying bitch?
No, and I don't think it's fair to say
Why?
they're
Why?
all liars.
We
There's
also assume
plenty
she's
of men
telling the
who,
truth, right?
there are plenty of men who got off from their rape cases that we know. Brock Turner raped a woman, got off.
Yeah, I know who Brock Turner is. I would cut off his balls and feed it to him if I saw him in real life.
That's amazing. I'm glad you would do that.
The point that I'm trying to make, Big Slump, is that we don't just because we can't prove that a man is a rapist, we don't automatically go and assume the woman is some sort of lying bitch. Okay, we
Of
would
course.
also need to prove that the woman is lying beyond all reasonable doubt. That's why
Yep.
when false accusations of rape happens, we prove the fact that the woman was lying. The woman committed perjury or filed a false police report.
I mean, that's fair. And of course, false rape accusations do happen. But do you know the actual percentage? It's around like 5 to 10%. It's not a huge percentage. It doesn't happen a
Actually,
lot.
lower
Dude,
number, but okay.
it's not like a massive number. So most women aren't lying, and you can say
No,
you have to prove
even disagree.
you have to prove they're lying, or I mean, sure. But I think that's fucked up because you know how long court cases can last?
Very long.
Through legal litigation, it could easily go over 9 months to a year. So that woman could be forced to have that child anyway, even if it's proven later that she was raped. So that's the problem.
Big Slump, I don't think you're understanding. Okay. Big Slump, a woman can get an abortion after she's been raped immediately. She does not need to prove she's been raped. If some guy looks at that and thinks, wait, this woman is lying, he would need to prove beyond all reasonable doubt. But she could still be able to
Okay. So we're getting somewhere then. If you're saying a woman can get an abortion anytime after she's been raped, right?
No, I'm not saying that.
That's not what you're. So what are you saying then? If a woman can't get an abortion anytime she's after she's
First
been
of
raped,
all, first of all, the only procedure that's acceptable is unplugging.
you can believe that. I don't agree.
Right, that's fine. If that's the case, then I don't support an abortion in cases of rape. If we're talking outside of that, then no, I don't support it.
Because like the thing is though, what if a woman did get raped and she was so embarrassed, so filled with fear from her rapist that she doesn't come out and say she was raped and that she wants an abortion until her second trimester? Are you saying she should be denied that because
Yes,
she or something traumatizing, something that it's so hard to speak out about? You say she doesn't deserve that right.
yeah, I'm saying she doesn't deserve the right to kill her baby. Yes,
Uh, but previously you said it's because you have sex, you shouldn't have an abortion because you consent to having sex. That means you consent to pregnancy. If you don't
consensual
consent
cases
to sex,
and my argument for rape
Okay,
cases are different.
Shellshock. Let's just let Big Slump finish what he's saying, and then we'll go back to you. Just let him finish.
if you don't believe, if you believe that sex, a pregnancy is a consequence of sex because you consent to sex, right? Then how can you say someone who didn't consented to pregnancy, didn't consent to sex? How did they consent to pregnancy?
Because you can't, they didn't consent to pregnancy, but they do consent to not killing another human being. For example, when you're plugged up to the violinist, you can't jam a needle into its stomach and its abdomen and give him a heart attack. So third trimester abortions are out. You can't crush his skull and
I,
vacuum up his organs. Second trimester is out. You can't take a pill that will poison his blood or poison his body. First trimester abortions are out. You can't push him into another location knowing that the contents of that other location will kill him. Uh, Early delivery is out.
dude, Shellshock, that's great. You can read this book and you can take wholeheartedly what it says to heart, that if you're plugged up, you can't hurt it at all. You can't kill it. That's great. I disagree because being connected to
The violence.
this is not the same. It's not the same thing as being pregnant. I see the parallels and I see the hypothetical, but pregnancy is its own thing that isn't comparable to the hypothetical you're bringing up truly.
I mean, this is
because
a
people have the choice.
Right. Go on.
And that's great that this is from a pro-choice author and they're trying to get their point across. Not all pro-choice people agree with each other. That doesn't mean I'm going to agree with what they're saying, you know?
Sure.
I'm not gonna. I know plenty of pro-choice people in my life that I think a lot of their views are kind of disgusting, but they're pro-choice. I mean, we have the same position, but that doesn't mean the same arguments. Same end goal, different means.
That's fine. But again, we can go back to the consensual cases then. Consent to sex is consent to pregnancy. I don't think you should be allowed to kill a child that was put in that positions by your actions in the first place. That's, for example, you can't give a baby a gun and then shoot it and claim self-defense, right? You cannot create the situation and then make a defensive case.
That's fair. I kind of do agree with that. Though I don't think you're consenting to pregnancy when you consent to have sex. Maybe back in the 1600s when sex was mostly for procreation. With the amount of contraceptives we
I
have,
don't believe that.
with
I don't
everything we
believe
have
the
today,
1600s are like that.
excuse me, with everything we have in today's world, I don't believe that sex is just for procreation. I don't think you don't consent to procreation. I think you consent to having sex because it's fun and sex is cool. It feels good. We like it.
Yeah, okay. Listen, BigSlump, if I drink alcohol because I like the taste, but I end up getting drunk, do I consent to getting drunk?
I don't. I guess. Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Even though my initial purpose of drinking alcohol was to enjoy the taste, not to get drunk, you still
Well,
would say that I do consent to getting drunk.
because here's the thing: if you drink alcohol, you're going to get drunk. If you have sex, that doesn't mean you're going to get pregnant.
Wait. If I drink one glass, am I drunk?
No, probably not.
I thought you just said if you're gonna drink alcohol, gonna get drunk.
Okay. So if that's what we're doing here, if you drink too much, yeah, then sure you
If you have
consent
sex
to being
too much,
drunk. Sure, you consent to being drunk. If you have sex too much, who's having sex too much? I mean, like,
the couple,
sure,
the hypothetical couple,
sure. Let's say this hypothetical couple is having sex too much.
and they end up getting pregnant.
They get
Condom breaks
that
after
is
9,000
terrible.
times.
That is terrible. That sucks. But again, due to other women, other circumstances of the world we live in, I'm going to look at that couple and be like, well, that sucks. But I'm going to look at all these women who have been raped, who have, life or death pregnancies, all these other circumstances. I'm going to look at them and be like, well, I do this for you. I believe in this for you because for all the women that'll use it as a birth control, like you would believe, there are a million women who use it for so many better reasons, so much better reasons.
Okay, so BigSlump, I'm like mad confused. First of all, can we not simply make exceptions to those reasons then?
It's hard to do that, truly, because exceptions have to be proven. Like again in the rape exception, you have to prove someone was raped, and that's so hard to do.
I literally said we could do it in reverse for these instances, right? In fact, we do technically. When a woman says when a woman accuses somebody of rape and it's not proven, we don't arrest the woman, right? If she's lying, we have to prove that she's lying.
Yes.
So if a woman gets an abortion by making the claim that she was raped, we would have to prove that she was lying.
Sure. But again, you know how hard it is to prove that someone was lying about rape?
I'm sure it is.
All these things are so hard to prove, all these exceptions you want to make. When the reality is, even with these exceptions, as I've laid out before, the amount of abortions don't change. They actually rise in societies that have anti-abortion laws. I can send this study. It's in my notes. I can copy and paste it right now.
I already said I believe you. It does not matter.
Great. So
I already said it's not relevant.
Okay, I understand. But here's the thing, Shellshock. If anti-abortion area, if countries, states, etc., with anti-abortion laws have higher rates of abortion than states that have pro-choice laws, let's say, then what is the point of illegalizing abortion? What is the point of making it illegal if it doesn't stop anything? If
you
no
don't
one else,
legalize murder. Don't legalize murder.
it makes the situation worse.
You're cutting off for me, BigSlump.
Sorry. I'm saying am I good now?
Yeah, you're cutting out
Yeah.
occasionally. You're still understandable. We just might have to sort of take into account you occasionally will cut out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
A
okay
lot
though.
in the last.
Okay. Really, what I'm just saying is, if it's shown that in areas, countries, states, etc., with anti-abortion laws, we see that their rates are actually higher than areas without those laws. In areas where abortion is open, it's legal in all cases. What is then the end goal of making abortion illegal if it doesn't help anybody, if it's not saving lives, and in fact, in your case, in your position, truly, it hurts more lives? So I don't see the point in making it illegal when, even from your position, it makes things worse.
Okay, BigSlump. Do you think that slavery exists in UAE, United Arab Emirates?
I don't know. I'd have to read up on it. I don't know.
Okay. Do you think slavery exists in America in some parts? Do you think some
Yes,
people are treating other human beings
the
as slaves?
entire prison industrial complex is slavery.
Okay. Let's go to another country in South Africa, and let's say that country, pick a random country, I don't care. Let's say that country has legalized slavery.
Okay.
Now that country has less slaves than than America. Okay.
Okay.
Do you think we should legalize slavery in America?
No, because here's the thing: slavery is not illegal in America. It says so in the 13th Amendment, or 14th, it might be. I can't quite remember the exact one. It's not illegal. It's completely legal in the prison system. So slavery is legal in America. So if so, it's not really, it's not illegal here. So I can't really make the assumption that we should make it legal because it'll mean less slaves. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We already have slaves here, completely legal.
Let's say of the prison systems in South Africa, right? Let's say slavery is legal outside of the prison in South Africa. Okay. There are less slaves total than the slaves in America outside of the prison system.
I don't quite understand what you're getting at here.
Would you agree that there are certain people treating certain people like slaves outside of the prison system in America?
Possibly. The farthest I would say is that there are wage slaves in America outside of the prison system. Slavery as it exists in the prison system does not exist outside of the prison system, at least in America. It's kind of hard to not pay people for doing their job if they're not a criminal. You know what I mean?
Actually, there was
a lot of law.
One guy, I believe there was that one black guy. He was severely autistic, so he didn't really understand. He was treated pretty much like a slave by some guy. He got his owner got his owner shit. His boss got arrested.
Well, I think we're going off topic a lot onto a different issue. I'd like to see it sort of tied back to the
I would like to just finish
topic.
this point.
Come again?
Can I just, Mark? Can I just finish this point?
Yeah, sure. Just tie it back into the abortion discussion rather than sort of slavery.
Right. So, BigSlump, the thing that I'm trying to say is, let's say that in South Africa there are 75 slaves. Okay. But slavery is legal outside of the prison system. Okay. Now let's say that in similar to the 1800s, slavery. Some people still use slavery. So there's about 100 slaves in America
Okay.
outside of the prison system.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Do you think we should make slavery legal just because there are less slaves in other countries where slavery is legal?
No. And really, if we're saying this is like 1800s America, slavery was legal then. But regardless, no. Even if we have more slaves, no, I don't think we should make it legal.
So how on earth can you make the claim that
excuse
I
me.
can't
Hold
say
it,
abortion
hold
should
it,
be
hold
legal?
it, hold it. Let Shellshock just finish your point, but please do tie it back into the abortion discussion, Shellshock. Like, you're off on another tangent, which really got to be abortion. Please tie it in.
Let me
Right.
say this one before you.
No, Big Slump.
Shellshock,
Just let Shellshock tie this in, because I want to hear this tied into the abortion debate. I haven't heard it tied in yet. So Shellshock, maybe take 30 seconds, tie it in, and then we'll hear from Big Slump.
You just agreed that even though there are more slaves in America, you would still not support legalizing slaves because other countries have proven that legalizing slavery makes you have less slaves. So how can you make the claim that I can't ban abortions even though other countries have proven that legalizing abortion lowers the rate of abortion, even though you would
because
never
Shellshock,
of logic.
because Shellshock, slavery and abortion are different things. Okay, there has never been any instance in history where slavery was made illegal and slavery numbers increased. That's never happened. What has happened is abortions becoming illegalized and abortion rates going up in those areas. Entirely different.
Okay,
They're
man.
entirely different subjects with different context behind each of them. You know, I understand the hypothetical, and you know, I do somewhat agree with what you're saying. They're just entirely different issues, though. You know, that you can't really equate them because they're different issues with different variables throughout history.
Sure. Okay, to kind of go back to the body autonomy argument, you made the
Okay.
claim that if you consent to something, you can still get an abortion. You can still kill a child because of all these other women that are getting abortions
Yes.
because of valid reasons. Something even I would consider valid reasons.
Yes.
Okay. So would you agree with me that majority of abortions happen outside of those valid reasons?
I don't know if I'd agree. I'll also, for the sake of
51%.
argument, I'll say I agree with that. For the sake of argument.
Shouldn't we then ban them due to the fact that majority of them happen due to these reasons, and the exceptions to the rules we should allow them to do it?
Repeat that one more time, please. I don't quite understand what you're asking.
Okay, so you've agreed with me that that even if you consent to pregnancy, you can still get an abortion because of all the other valid reasons to get an abortion.
Yes, I'm with you there. I got you there. I agree with that.
But Big Slump, you would not tell me. Okay, let me give a different analogy. Big Slump.
Yep.
Can we kill people for unjustifiable reasons?
No. Well, you
But we can
can.
kill
It
people
does.
self-
You can. It does happen. Yes, it can
but it's
happen.
illegal,
You
right? It's
shouldn't.
illegal,
You shouldn't do it, but you can.
right? But it is illegal.
Yes.
Okay, but we can
so are
kill people in
justifiable
self-defense,
murders.
correct?
Come again?
We can kill people in self-defense, right?
True.
True. So even though majority of cases uh, killing people is wrong, we still make exceptions to that rule. So in case of abortion, majority of abortions.
They're kind of exceptions. They're kind of exceptions. Because even when you kill someone in self-defense, usually you get tacked on a manslaughter charge. You still will spend time in prison. Killing someone is not okay for most people. You know, like even in justifiable cases, they'll still spend time in prison.
Yes, no. If it's manslaughter, it wasn't valid self-defense. That's
A
the
lot of
point.
times, no, a lot of times, if it is in self-defense, you will still get a manslaughter charge, an involuntary manslaughter charge, because
Right.
even though it was self-defense, you killed somebody. You'll still
No,
get charged, and you'll still likely spend time in prison.
No, no. If you listen, BigSlump, the reason you get a manslaughter charge is because the state determined and proved beyond all reasonable doubt that this was not valid justification of self-defense.
No, Shellshock. No, that's not what happens. What happens is self-defense is proven, but because you killed someone, you get an involuntary manslaughter charge or a manslaughter charge because it holds less value than a murder charge. So you won't go to prison for as long. You're still likely going to spend time in prison.
That's not. No. Did Kyle Rittenhouse spend time in prison?
No, his case is a lot different. There's so much nuance, and then you have to include the politics that were going on there. That I don't think that's a fair situation to really bring up due to all the political outbreak that came with it.
Okay. Okay, my final analogy is this. If I pick up a child and sear him onto my skin, can I claim body autonomy and kill him?
Let's be serious, Shellshock. That is not the same thing.
Why he's
That is a
using my
living. That is a living person. That is someone who has their own body. No, excuse me. That is that is
Okay,
somebody who has their
let's
own bodily autonomy.
Whoa, time out. What constitutes as having your own body autonomy?
Being able to survive outside of somebody else, being able to live off your own nutrients, of course, eating, of course, but the ability to do those things without being hooked up to another person, being literally a parasite.
Okay, don't call it a parasite. Nobody cares if it's a parasite.
That's
Jesus.
legit what it is, though. It's definition parasite. It is a parasite.
Okay. To again, BigSlump.
Yeah.
A 21-week-old premature baby has a possibility, less than 1%, but has a possibility of surviving outside the womb without the mother's help. But does it have body autonomy at 21 weeks?
If it can survive outside of the mother's womb without any help whatsoever, yeah, it has bodily autonomy.
No, not
Any
without any
whatsoever.
It needs a lot of medical care, and again, that's still less than 1% chance.
And again, I mean, it technically does have bodily. I mean, in a sense, not really. No, it doesn't have bodily autonomy.
So, at what point does it have body autonomy?
At the point in which you don't need to be hooked up to machines to save your life, I really think that's what bodily autonomy is. Because think, it's not the person in a coma who gets to pull their own plug. Their bodily autonomy is taken away because they aren't able to make those decisions for themselves. It's the same thing with a fetus.
If a person was in a coma that will wake up in 20 weeks, and the family was like, you know what, even though I know he's going to wake up in 20 weeks or 9 months, let's pull the plug anyway. Do you think that's acceptable?
Well, that wouldn't happen. That's the thing.
Right, but if we made it analogous to pregnancy, that is exactly what decisions being made, right?
It doesn't work because if there are signs of life in someone's brain, they don't let you pull the plug.
No, let's say there's no signs of life in his brain.
But there are no signs of life. That means you're brain dead, and that means you are dead legally.
Let Shellshock finish his point. He was just sort of in the middle of talking. Go, Shellshock, and then we'll go back to BigSlump.
Let's say there's no signs of life in his brain. Let's say there's no signs of life, but he will gain signs of life after 9 months.
Okay. The family wants to pull the plug on that because when you have no signs of life in your brain, you're brain dead.
But they will gain.
That's legal death.
No. Let's say that he is that even though they can't detect signs of life, they know for a fact that he will gain signs of life in 9 months.
Then still pull the plug. Pull the fucking.
Okay, so
the family's choice. That person's bodily autonomy has left in the hands of the family. And I don't like your analogy because it's something that would never happen under any circumstances. Something that is scientifically impossible.
It happens in pregnancy all the time. We all know the baby's gonna come out of the womb in 9 months.
Yeah, sure. but you can't determine, oh, this person's brain dead. Oh, but I know they'll be awake, and again a false equivalency because that doesn't happen.
Okay, how about the
It's a
baby in the
hypothetical that makes no sense.
okay,
Excuse me,
okay.
what'd you say?
A baby in the womb has brain waves from like
Sure.
2 to 3 weeks.
Sure.
Is that not
Cool.
signs of life?
That might be a sign of life. Sure, there's a bunch of signs of life. I believe there's 7 things. 7, like, I forget what they're called. I know, like respiration. Fucking, there's like 7 things constitutes human life. It's a whole fucking ordeal. Brainwaves are one of those things, sure, but that doesn't mean It can have brainwaves, great, but it still can't survive on its own, which is where my argument really stands. If you can't survive on your own outside of a body, speaking in general terms, because of course you need to be fed, but in terms of, respiration, you're breathing for yourself, your cells are healing by themselves, etc., etc. You can't do that by yourself. You don't have bodily autonomy. You're not pretty much kind of not a person, truly.
I have nothing more to add.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, is there any other topics either of you would like to bring up? We've been going for about an hour on the open discussion. If you'd like to go to questions, that's totally fine. If you'd like to raise anything else, either of you, I want to make sure you have an opportunity to cover all the topics that you wanted to get into. So do you have anything else you want to bring up before we go into questions?
I think I got my point across pretty well. I'd be happy to go into questions.
Okay, what about you, Shellshock?
Yeah, I think the first question is for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, I do have to read it out. Just 1 second, and I think I can get, and so I don't have to change my screen. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the first one's a test question, so it's not for you, it's for me. Sorry there, Shellshock. Okay, so Mithridates 6, and I do apologize for butchering any names, and especially to Mithridates. Does it follow from the pro-life stance in this discussion? I'm sorry. Does it follow from the pro-life stance in this discussion that fathers should be compelled to donate blood or organs to the child, whether they want to or not? Or is this only a compulsory duty on the mothers and not the fathers?
For the first answer, no, and the second answer is kind of yes, but that's because of how sex is supposed to work. Men are not relegated to 9 months of pregnancy. That's not how their body works. But let's say that in the future, like some sort of disease goes around that every child that's born needs a blood donation directly from their father. Okay, let's just make that hypothetical. In that instance, if a man decides not to donate his blood after the baby is born, then he would be charged with manslaughter because the child would die. So in that instance, yes. But again, that would be a set standard that would need to exist that everyone would understand, just like how everyone understands sex causes babies.
And do you have anything to add to that, BigSlump?
Yeah. I'm kind of in love with what the I can't remember who asked the question. Excuse me. But I'm actually kind of in love with that question because I do think it highlights the double standard we put on each sex when it comes to pregnancy. And like Shellshock said, it's not it's not what men do. Sure, they don't carry the pregnancy, but they are still consenting to that. If you say women consent to that, then men do as well. And I think in any cases where their child's life is at stake and they have the ability to save it, I think it would, using Shellshock's logic personally, I think that'd be the smart decision, or the only decision you can make. Smart was the wrong word, excuse me. in your framework, I think what the person who asked the question, I think that like you should agree with that off the bat, because you're talking about how do I word this? You're talking about how you can't take away the life of a child under any circumstances. Well, you didn't say under any circumstances. That is hyperbole. Excuse me. So you can't take away the life of a child, and if a mother is, forced to do that in your framework, then a father should be as well.
No,
Okay.
because again, when a baby is born, wait, should I respond or no?
No, I was just about to say you get the last response because the question really was for you. So go for it. You just sort of preempted me there. That's not a problem. Go for it, Shellshock.
So, first of all, BigSlump, if the reason I'm saying no is because there's a difference between extraordinary care and ordinary care, right? If your child needs a blood donation, I would agree that you don't have to give blood to your child, even if it causes his death. But if you cause the situation that resulted in your child needing blood, then you would be charged with manslaughter at the minimum.
Okay.
BigSlump.
And I do want to move on.
Yeah, no, look,
Yeah,
this is this. Shellshock does get the last word, just because the question really was directed to him. So if you don't have anything more to add, Shellshock, I'll move on to the next question, if that's okay.
Yeah, you can move on.
Okay. Kenny, and this is for Shellshock probably. Why would you save the one baby over the 500 adults? And that's from Kenny.
It was just to prove a point. It doesn't really matter who you save, because the group you don't save doesn't mean that that group doesn't have human rights anymore. This question is so worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, BigSlump, did you want to add something to that?
Like, for example,
I just want to say I think the question is great, and I think it really highlights the hypocrisy a lot of pro-life people have. Regardless, if you disagree with that question, Shellshock, that's fine. We don't have to talk about that one. I get it though. I get what you're saying.
Okay, Shellshock,
let me ask a quick counter question, BigSlump.
Okay, sure.
Would you say 500 pregnant, 9-month pregnant women, or 500 normal women that are not pregnant?
Well, see, if we're going based on the trolley question, I'm just gonna let the trolley stay on the track it was going on. In that case.
So even if it kills 500 pregnant women, that are 9 months pregnant, that's not a care in the world for you.
No, because it's gonna kill 500 women either way. It's terrible. But
okay, so I would pull the plug.
My choice isn't to kill. Again, we both know that I don't believe life starts until birth. So the difference between a pregnant woman and a woman, to me, I mean, it's just that. I mean, one's pregnant, one's not. I don't really value one more than the other. I value both women and pregnant women pretty highly the same.
Okay, that's fine.
You do get the last word, Shellshock. It was for you. So.
That's fine.
Okay, sure.
My last word, that's fine.
Okay, no problem at all. Next question. And this is from, I do apologize, it did come in from somebody, I didn't have the name on it. It was from Yisheng. And I do apologize for butchering that name. Thank you for the question. If let's say a woman is struggling to give birth, she is having twins, a doctor could only save the woman or twins, who should be given the choice? The father, the mother, the parents of the mother, the parents of the father, or the government? And BigSlump, I'll let you answer that. It doesn't say who it's for. I'm not sure who it's for. But if you want to go first, and then we'll go to
for me.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It's for who, sorry?
I think it's for me, but
Okay. Sure. Well, I mean, I'll go for it, Shellshock, if it's for you.
We can both answer.
Sure.
No, we can both answer. BigSlump, can I answer first?
Yeah, go ahead. No problem.
Okay. The mother.
And
I agree.
Okay. All right, agreement on that one. The mother should be given the choice. Okay.
Of course. Glad
So
we found
this,
some middle. Shellshock. That's awesome.
yeah, some common ground there. This is from NPC Lowlife. That says, what does it tell you about abortions that the best argument for its legalization is that it happens less often? So I think that's towards the pro-choice side. So that's probably directed at you, Big It's not really a question; it's more a statement. But did you want to address that one?
Yeah. Like I said, if this person is in the chat, I have the studies. It's multiple studies condensed into one. You can find the individual studies through there. But I can send that in the this chat if you're interested in seeing the data. Give me 1 minute.
Okay, Shellshock. While Big Slump's doing that, do you have anything to add to it?
No, I
Okay.
don't have anything to add.
Okay, no problem. And this one from Sintzco, it says, to Big Slump, would you support abortion 1 day before delivery? So that definitely is to Big
Yeah.
Slump.
I mean, it's definitely a tough decision, and I hate saying yes, but I'm strong in my convictions here. There are reasons for everything, and I believe in HIPAA. The people shouldn't have to disclose why they're getting medical procedures. I just think it's not my business. I don't know who this person is, what their life is like. I don't think it's fair for me to pass that judgment on to them. So in cases like that, I'd still say yes, you can get that abortion, and I'm okay with it. Okay, I should say personally, I'm not okay with it. I do think it's kind of wrong in a sense. But legally, if in the bigger picture, I'm fine with it because I think it protects more women than it hurts.
Okay, Shellshock, do you have anything to add?
I mean, he even allowed the idea that if majority of abortions happen outside of medical necessity, fetal abnormality, uh, and in cases of rape, he would still support abortion. So I don't understand why he keeps saying majority of the time this still happens when
Because
it doesn't matter. Big slump.
I don't think it matters. I truly don't. But through my belief, my framework, I don't believe. We're out of the debate. This is answering questions. I'm going to answer from my framework, from my
Okay.
beliefs. I don't believe life starts at conception. So, from that point, if a woman wants to get an abortion a day before, go fine. Because, like I said, I think it protects more people than it hurts. That's just me personally. I believe that's what I believe.
okay.
Shellshock, I can kind of understand where you're coming from, but like I said, from in the debate, agreeing with the framework and that this is an entirely different set of rules.
Okay.
Okay. And the next question is from MPC Lowlife as well. Thank you so much for your questions, MPC Lowlife. If you believe that a person cannot survive by themselves, they don't deserve to survive, do you believe in any kind of social net or social safety net is probably what they're talking about.
Ooh,
to you, Big Slump.
Yeah, I never said nobody deserves to live. Sure, deserve is a very strong word, and it implies a lot of more philosophical questions than this debate is really like. Deserves is a loaded statement. I do believe in social safety nets, yes, to put it bluntly, because I am. If you guys want to know, I am a communist. I think things like shelter, healthcare, food, those should be accessible to everybody at any time, any point. And social safety nets are one of the best ways of getting that, especially in larger societies.
Okay, do you have anything to add there, Shellshock?
No.
Okay, I just have to get another another list of questions for any that came in. Just give me 1 second. I do apologize. Yep. Okay. Next question is from Sinsco. To BigSlump, you argue bodily autonomy. Let's say your friend is driving down the highway, but then withdraws their consent to drive on the basis of bodily autonomy. Could they just jump out?
I really don't like questions like that because it's not how bodily autonomy works. It's really not. I mean, it's like it really. When I hear that question, I think of 2012 trans jokes about trans people, like, "Oh, I identify as an Apache attack helicopter." It's the same thing in a different coding. Like, what if you just don't consent to driving? Like that. It's not how that works, and we all know it. That's not how that works. Come on.
Do you have any opinions on that question? Any kind of comments on that question, Shellshock?
I mean, we would then devolve into trans debate, so let's not.
Yeah, let's keep it on
trying
topic.
To
no, that's fine. That's fine.
About that. I was just saying it reminded me of those kinds of jokes back in like 2012 or so.
No, I understand BigSlump. It's just, yeah, we're not going to go on to, a different topic.
Yeah,
but,
no, yeah. For sure. Yeah, of course.
Okay, going on to the next question. Elusive Viper. To clarify a previous question, if a father is a perfect match for a kidney donation for their child, should it be mandated that the father donate their kidney? I don't remember Elusive doing a previous question.
The very first question. The second question.
Got you. So that was somebody else's question. Okay, so that's a no?
No. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have anything to add on that question, BigSlump?
I mean, I not really. No.
Okay. No problem at all. And the very last question. So if you've got any other questions, do ping the MDD stage questions bot and just ask your question if you do have any others. But this is the last question for the moment from Wire. For Shellshock, would you be okay if a fetus is aborted if that fetus has no consciousness or brain activity? Or at least do you think one with brain activity absence have differing values?
So this question is a bit too vague, but I'm gonna have to make certain assumptions. Let's just cover them all. If he's making the claim that the baby is brain dead, right? Then and he's not falsely claiming that the baby is brain dead. Like we know the baby's brain dead. Then I would not necessarily be against an abortion. But if the baby is going to die 100%, the argument doesn't become an argument of abortion. It becomes an argument of euthanasia, right? Or should we stop suffering because there's no survival anymore?
If I can add to that.
We'll let Shellshock finish first.
Okay, sorry. I thought he was finished.
Yeah, no problem.
If he's so if it becomes an argument of euthanasia, in which case I'm not necessarily against it. My argument of euthanasia is a bit. I don't really have one. It's very. But if you want to make the claim that I should support euthanasia, fine, I can in this specific instance. If he's making the claim that if the question is more like the baby has a less brain activity, is mentally disabled, or is missing parts of his brain, but can still survive, I would say then yeah, we should protect it. We should give it as good of a quality of life as we can.
Okay, BigSlump.
Yeah, just to add something, like I would argue, we're talking about the difference between abortion versus euthanasia is ending the suffering. Correct, Shellshock? If I don't want to frame your argument incorrectly.
Can you restate?
Yeah. You said that the difference between euthanasia and abortion is ending the suffering of one thing, right? There is one ends the suffering. Okay. I would argue that abortion probably does end a ton of suffering that a child could go through, probably will go through. Just knowing that most women who have abortions are on the poverty, below or at the poverty line. I'd argue that a child being born into abject poverty could cause a lot of suffering, or being put into the adoption system, which I was in, and it's terrible. And it, truly, you suffer. So I'd argue that in a lot of cases, you could say that you're suffering by aborting.
BigSlump, can I kill a born child because he's going to go into a foster care system?
I think that's a different question. Again, I don't think you should. No, that's a live child with their own bodily autonomy.
Can I euthanize a 75-year-old grandfather who's going to be in intense, extreme pain for the next 6 hours and then die?
If he consents to that, yes.
Let's say he's not capable of consenting to it.
Then yeah, probably.
Still,
If
yes, yeah.
If family's making that decision, or their doctor,
The family doctor.
If you don't have the bodily autonomy for yourself, it really does come down to the people around you. There are so many people who don't have family that end up in comas, and the doctors are the ones that pull their plugs because they're probably not.
Right,
they're
because
not live.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same with your hypothetical. Yes, pull that. If they want to make the decision to pull that plug, then yeah.
Okay, well, that was for Shellshock, so I'll let you have the last word, Shellshock. But the original asker of the question did have a clarification. So add anything that you want to, and then I'll sort of...
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, well, I'll more hone in on what they were trying to ask. They were trying to ask, is it okay to have an abortion before there is brain activity, since you said sort of brain activity was one of the foundations of life?
No, no, it's not okay to have an abortion before brain activity.
Okay, no problem. And that was our last question. So I hope everybody had a great time. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks to the audience for being here, but especially thanks to our interlocutors for being here and sort of giving their time to have these amazing debates that we put on. It was a fantastic exchange. Really enjoyed it. If you do want to see more debates, do go to the Modern Day Debate YouTube channel, where there is just a ton of debates with fantastic interlocutors like Destiny. There is philosophy, there is science, there is all kinds of things to debate. There is fantastic podcasts on there. We have also a challenge board on the Discord. So if you think you can do a better job, step into the ring and give really good arguments for why you think that abortion should be legal or illegal, or on any other topic whatsoever, visit our challenge board, post a challenge yourself, or accept somebody's challenge that they have put up, and you can come on and debate. Thank you so much, both BigSlump and Shellshock. Really appreciate it. That was a fantastic debate.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks, Shellshock. Thank you, Mark. I hope you guys have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.
Well, it's morning for me.
Yes, it is morning for some people, but that was awesome. Thank you. And I'll shut down. If you do want to continue the discussion, we have plenty of politics voice chat, or just a general voice chat to continue the discussion. But for the moment, thank you so much, everybody, and do have a fantastic day, night, or evening. Yeah, sorry, Shellshock.
I just want to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Oh,
Shellshock.
yeah, I do apologize.
Yes.
Do post the links in if you've got them. So if you do have any link that you wish to, I know I've got yours somewhere. I'll have to trace it down, to be honest with you. But if you do have the link there, yeah, fantastic. So yeah, do subscribe if you do want to see more of either interlocutor. BigSlump, do you have any links that you want to share or anything like that? BigSlump is gone. He has already left the building. But thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day. And all the best.
BigSlump, do you have any links?
No, I mean, follow me on Instagram. Other than that, no. I'll put the link in the chat. I don't really care.
You better do it fast.
I'm gonna be in
close this day. All right, no problem. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing this video, and I want to give a big thank you to all the channel members whose support allows me to bring you more content like this in the future. Thank you so much, everyone.